Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we are pulling back the curtain on the internet itself. We're going to decode the fundamental language that builds, well, every single website you've ever visited. So let's just dive right in. So, have you ever been looking at a web page and just wondered, what is actually holding all of this together? It seems super complex, right? But it's actually built from some surprisingly simple pieces. And by the end of this, you'll know exactly what those pieces are. So where do we begin? Well, it all starts with this one core idea, the HTML element. Just think of it as the single, most basic Lego brick of a web page. Every heading, every sentence, every single thing you see online, it's an HTML element. Okay, so what is an element really? The easiest way to think about it is like a sandwich. You've got your start tag, that's the first slice of bread. It tells the web browser, hey, start doing something right here. Then you have your content, that's the good stuff in the middle. And finally, you have an end tag, the second slice of bread that says, okay, we're done with this. Let's break that down with a real example. It'll make perfect sense. So here we've got a start tag, H1. This is for a big main heading. Then the content, the actual words, my heading. And then look closely at the end tag, H1. See how it looks just like the start tag, but it has that little forward slash? That slash is everything. It's the universal signal in HTML that tells the browser, all right, this particular instruction is finished, move on.
All right, section 1, structuring your content. We're going to start with the two most basic things you'll ever use, headings and paragraphs.
Headings are absolutely crucial. And they're not just about making text look big, not at all. They create a logical structure, a hierarchy. So an H1 tag is for your main title, the most important thing on the page. Then an H2 is for a major section. H3 for a subsection, you get the idea. It goes all the way down to H6. This is how you organize your page for people to read and also for search engines to understand. So in the code itself, that hierarchy looks like this, just different numbers. We've got our H1 for the main event, and H2 for a subheading, and so on. Now the text inside might be exactly the same, but the tags are telling the browser that these have different levels of importance. So what does the browser do with that info? Well, this is the magic part. The browser does all the styling for you. It reads those different heading tags and automatically displays the content in different sizes, making it bold and giving it some space. This creates that visual hierarchy instantly, and you didn't have to touch a single font size. The tags themselves carry all the meaning.
Okay, but what about just regular text? For any normal block of text, the paragraph element is your absolute best friend. Seriously, it's what you're going to use most of the time, and it's represented by a simple P tag. And it works exactly like the headings. You just wrap your text with a start tag, P, and an end tag, P. The browser sees each P element as its own separate block, and it automatically adds a little bit of space between them to keep things nice and readable. Section 2, controlling space and flow. So now that we have some content on the page, let's look at how we can manage the spacing and create some divisions.
Now, this is a really, really important distinction to get. A P tag creates a whole new paragraph with that space above and below it. But what if you just want to drop down to the very next line without creating a whole new block? Well, that's exactly what the break tag, BR, is for. You'll notice it's what we call an empty tag. It doesn't have a closing tag. That's because it's not wrapping any content. It's just an instruction to the browser to break the line right here. Sometimes you need more than just empty space. You need a really clear visual divider to break things up. For that, HTML gives us the horizontal rule tag, or HR. Just like the break tag, it's another empty tag that just tells the browser to draw a line straight across the page. And using it could not be simpler. You can have a paragraph of text, and then you just drop the HR tag in on its own line. The browser knows exactly what to do. It draws a clean, horizontal line right there. It's an instant visual separation. All right, we've got structure and flow down. Now for the really fun part, formatting our text. Let's talk about how to make words bold, italic, or even highlight them with a few super simple tags. Okay, when you want to make text bold, you've actually got two options, B and strong. Now, to you and me, they look exactly the same, but here's the crucial difference. It's all about meaning. The B tag is purely visual. It just says, make this look bold. But the strong tag tells the browser and accessibility tools, like screen readers for the visually impaired, that this text has strong importance. It's a semantic difference, and it really matters. And we see the exact same principle with italics. The I tag, purely visual. It just makes the text slanted. But the EM tag, which stands for emphasis, tells a screen reader to actually change its tone of voice to add stress to that word. So for accessibility and just for writing better code, strong and EM are almost always the way to go. And for a more modern touch, what if you want to highlight some text, just like you would with a yellow marker in a textbook? Well, there's a tag for that. It's the mark tag, and it's a really clean and simple way to draw the reader's eye to something important. Now, the best part about all of this is that these tags are designed to work together. You can nest them inside a larger element, like a paragraph. So, for example, within a single P tag, we can wrap some words in a bold tag, another phrase in an emphasis tag, and a third part in a mark tag. And check it out. The browser follows every single one of those instructions perfectly. You get bold text, you get emphasized text, and you get highlighted text, all working together in one seamless sentence. This is how we get precise control over our content. Okay, section 4, their first HTML page. We've gone through elements, structure, flow, and formatting. Now let's put it all together into a super simple recipe for building a real web page. Honestly, this is all it takes to get started. You now have a 4-step guide for any basic web page. You start with your H1 headings to create structure. You write all your content inside P tags. You can control the flow with breaks and horizontal rules. And then you add emphasis to make the key ideas pop. That's it. That's the core of it. It's really that simple. You now officially understand the fundamental language that underpins the entire World Wide Web. You've got the basic tools you need to structure information and share it with anyone. So the only real question left is, what are you going to build first?